Hello everybody, welcome. My name is Master Juniper Blue Mystique. I'm going to talk about something a little bit different today. Well, similar to my video yesterday, but I kind of need to show you guys this because God showed it to me. So a while ago, in August of 2024, I was doing some things to the moon and the sun, right? And God showed me it was atomizing, that we were going to be atomizing. It's evolution. Okay, so hear me out. I'm going to show you some atomization. I'm going to show you evolution right in front of our eyes today. And it's something I didn't see coming. It occurred right as we went into May 6th time frame to the sun, and I saw it and I was like, so I want to show you before anything changes or happens. And then we're going to listen to something I did in August of 24. Because it's an evolution. We are evolving. We are changing. We are resetting mankind. That is what the ascension is. It is the return of the gods. It is return of light. And we truly are resetting mankind. Okay? And so, what does this mean? Yesterday I did a video about the sun on this channel. And by the way, I am an ascension master, a master healer, and a divine guide. Since 2019, I had no Kundalini awakening, and I have been doing things to the earth and healings, clearing Mount Shasta, activating pyramids, freeing Jesus' soul, undoing the Holy Grail, clearing the Nile, Horus rising, and more, okay? Realigning the sun and the moon and taking back what was always ours. So I want you to watch this. Okay, making sure you can see this. Watch this. If you can't already see this, let's look at this. Did you see that? Okay, did you see that? Here, let's look at it even more. Because I truly want you to get a full picture of this. Because I'm going to show you what it means to me. Watch it closely. Boom. Did you see that? I wish I could pause it. I tried to get an image of it. It occurred right as we went into May 6th. This is the sun. Ooh, it looks like atomizing. And I saw that this morning and I'm like, that's the image God kept giving me of atomizing. He kept giving me this image, atomizing. And that's exactly what an atom looks like. Okay, it gets the rings around it. It goes really fast and it's like a sudden flash. This occurred just a few hours ago. Check that out. Let's watch it again. Watch it again. See if I can't. Oh, look at that. Look at them apples. Oh, it goes so fast. Let's see. Ooh. Ah, you see that? That ring right there? Look at that. Just a sudden flash. A sudden flash of bright light from the sun. Check that out. I haven't done that yet. Boom. Boom. And then ooh, let's watch it again. Let's watch that again in fast mo. Normal mo. I love it. Okay, so what does that have to do with anything, right? Let's watch this. Okay, this was a video I did on August 19th of 24, how the full moon and the sun CME is changing everything. Think Big Bang Theory, and I talked about this yesterday in my video with the sun, okay? Think Big Bang Theory. This video is only 18 minutes, so we're going to watch it because this is the time God gave me the atomization image, all right? It was right after a Patreon healing with the moon. I told you I've been doing things to the sun and the moon. That is also part of the return. It's part of the prophecy. And this is hard for people to fathom. And a lot of people choose not to see certain things or they're not ready to. But either way, look at this. Like, look at this. Keep watching that sun and let's listen to what I say. Healing. And it was massive. So hello, everybody. It's me, Juniper Blue Mystique. I have something a little important to tell you. So I just did my Patreon healing, and it was massive, so I feel exhausted. But yesterday, I did a video on the full moon. And I am a master healer, ascension master, and divine guide. So I encourage you to check out my channel. The return of Christ plays out here, okay? You don't have to believe me. Check out every video I've got, especially the Ascension playlist. So I did a video yesterday that talked about the full moon and what this full moon truly represents, and Ashtar provided a message and God did. And then after that video, I did something came through, and so I just want to talk about that a little bit. I even tried to sketch it out, and I'm going to explain what this sketch really means.
You see that? Did you see that? It was an atom. They gave me the image of atomization, and let's look at this. Like the big flash. Think Big Bang Theory. And I said it yesterday with the video with the sun. You see, what I do is guided. It's nudged from spirit. Everything I say matters, and then we can kind of put it together later. But literally, I said that yesterday. Think Big Bang Theory, like a big sudden flash of light, and then everything changes. And look at this, like how many signs, right, do we need? We always assume it means something. We assume we understand. We assume, well, we're still here. And these are like pieces of everything. Okay, so let's listen. I love this.
So I expressed to you yesterday that this full moon is unlike any other. This is the catalyst to change. From August 1st through August 8th, I birthed the new earth because the return of Christ is complete, and God put us into the final portal. We are in the final timeline. This is the final split of all darkness and light, okay? And only love will rise now. And the new earth is so beautiful and so filled with joy and heaven's vibrations. And the time is now to rise. But when I expressed about this full moon yesterday, I talked about how this was what God is calling an ethereal eclipse. Because if you watch the new earth birthing, on day 1, God united my DM and I, put our feet into the core, and we birthed the new earth. We separated the matrix completely. The only portal left is that of the Nile wall. Day 2, I realigned the planets. Okay, we're in Pleiades now, we're in 7D, not 5D. A lot of changes occurred in the return of Christ, okay, so we took us further than we were meant to go. Then on day 3, I pushed the sun and the moon together from the matrix side, okay? So this won't be visible to those in the matrix. You're not going to see any of this. But if you're open and you're awakening and you're rising, you're going to see these things to be true. But I pushed the sun and the moon together in day 3 on August 3rd of this year in birthing the new earth. And from there, a whole bunch of Christ light came through. And I spoke yesterday about the importance of watching the return of Christ work, the totality of it, but also the birthing of the new earth, because this is what's happening right in front of you now. So after I talk,
keep in mind too, what I do will continue to play out in your reality. You know, some people look for instantaneous. When I would do this work, they're like, well, that didn't happen yet. And then it was a year later that it would happen. And I'm getting chills when I said that. You know, being psychic is real. I am very psychic, but not only am I psychic, I'm doing the work. And, you know, God showed you, and it takes a testament of God to understand the universal flow, to understand God, to understand that things happen. Okay, think of it like manifesting, right? You put something out there, and then you have to give it time to come back like a boomerang. That's what I do. So when I see these things, it didn't mean that that was the only thing, or it was right then either, right? And I also am channeling these things through, so it takes processing time for us and the earth, because I did the work, okay? So I did the work. I moved the moon, I moved the sun. I do a lot of full moon healings on Patreon, and it's for the ascension. This isn't just to heal people with the full moon. What I do is I do it to the earth. And if you're truly watching my videos, that's what you're going to see. And then those that partake in it are actually partaking in the return work and do get to receive the healings. So let's listen.
Talked about what God said this moon is and what it represents. It will be activations of the Eye of Horus, the Eye of Ra. Full Christ light activations will occur, but also the splitting of the two paths, right? Only love will rise.
This is where we're at.
And those who carry the shadow and karmic will now have karmic play out demise. But then after I did the video, yes, so I encourage you to watch that video I just did yesterday on August 18th about this full moon and what God said and what Ashtar said. Shortly after that, it was like towards the evening, I was watching TV with my kids. And, you know, I talked about in the Return of Christ work how I had to activate dormant chakra systems for everybody. I had to upgrade your central nervous system. It is an evolution of mankind. Okay, we are currently in an evolution, full-blown evolution of mankind. It is the seventh wave of creation.
Cheers.
And God has ordered a great reset because people continually don't choose past that resistance. And there was not a lot of love given towards the return of Christ. So, all of that is there, and all of that is very relevant. Okay? Day 1, 2, and 3 of the birthing of the new earth are very relevant for what we're going through right now. Also, 4 and 5, he says, will play out too simultaneously. So you really need to watch those videos. It's the
Yesterday I did a video about the sun, what God said about the sun. Our seasons are shifting. That's 4 and 5. Okay? 4 was seasons and new crops being birthed. So, you know, because I undid the GMO farms, I undid a lot of things over the return work. And in the new earth birthing, on day 4 was the new seasons, new crops. Day 5 was a new chakra system, new brain synapses. And these are where we're at right now, you guys. And like, I just exposed the Antichrist as well in undoing the Sistine Chapel. I told you St. Francis's heart would stop because I literally walked his soul out of his body when I undid the Sistine Chapel part 2. Then on Easter, a week later or whatever, his heart stopped. I also told you what Easter really was. So you guys, this is mind-blowing to me because I'm like, you can't deny what I've done. Like, this was almost a year ago. We're now in May of 25. So 3 months shy. 9 months ago.
Christ work. If you can't watch with an open heart and from a lens of love, then why are you here, right? You won't make it. You won't rise above. So yesterday, after I talked about what the full moon is, God called it an ethereal eclipse. This is not like an eclipse of the matrix. This is...
So what I'm talking about there is the sun and the moon are one. It has to do with my DM and I. It has to do with all the Return of Christ work. Whenever we're talking about the sun, they are highly connected right now. This, ooh, did you see that? Gosh, I wish I could get all of that. But it was so bright. So the sun and the moon are one. And every time I do work lately, God literally says that there is no separation at all for the sun and the moon. Look at that. It's like almost like a halo, a flash of light. It reminds me of this atomization. Okay? So there's no separation with the sun and the moon anymore. And those eclipses that we used to have were false eclipses. They were not aligned to what is supposed to be. None of the things here were. They were modified. They were all manipulated. But they will not be anymore. Okay?
It's not like just a lunar or a solar eclipse, okay? This is different. This is ascension based. This is Return of Christ based. This is planetary alignment based. Beyond what you understand, okay? So know that it's not something necessarily you're gonna feel, but you will.
Okay, I have to laugh because every time I see myself mess with my hair's wet right now, and when I see myself do that, I'm like, oh God, okay. I'm affecting myself. Okay, go ahead.
You will feel, see. You're gonna see some of it, especially those that are awake. You're gonna feel most of it, okay? Because essentially, after I talked about what the moon was yesterday, later in the evening, I felt this intense pain on my chest, right? And I commented about it. I spoke about it. And I said I was going to discuss it in the video. So I felt this intense pain on my chest and this need to do a meditation, and they told me to grab my kids in there. And I'm like, really? Like, why my kids, right? They're older. They're not little. But they've also, a week ago, had the upgraded chakra system during their healings. So I did a live a week ago Sunday, and I said I needed to go.
Oh my gosh, you guys. So when I undid the Sistine Chapel part 2, it was only my kids that could participate, and I forgot they did this work. So they were ready. Okay, let's
do a healing on my kids. And it turns out they got the upgraded chakra system. I didn't see why or what was coming, but I did now. So yesterday after I talked about the moon, I said it was what God was calling us ethereal eclipse, okay? Um, I had to sit down and I had to call my kids over, and they didn't know why. And I just had them grab certain crystals, and we sat around in a meditation. And they were literally just a mild vessel to carry this through. But all of a sudden, I saw the sun, and the sun was very massive. And if I felt it in my new chakra between my heart and my solar plexus, I felt it in that chakra there. There's one between the heart and the solar plexus for those who did the Return of Christ work with me. They were supposed to be for this purpose, okay? But they were not, those who did that were not quite aligned and ready to receive this. So my kids, God prepped them, and I didn't know that was coming. Because like I said, a week prior, they had this chakra system activated. And I didn't see this coming. So the image I've got here, let me show you this image, because this is what happened. I sketched it, but I'm going to explain it better. Okay? Do you see all this? So I had the sun. I saw the sun first. And then I saw the full moon. Okay? And they were aligned together, which if you know Horus and Sekhmet, and if you've watched the Return of Christ work that I've done, Horus and Sekhmet have returned. I've healed the sun and the moon. I've realigned them. It's all been done, okay? That's why with this incoming influx, this CME that was released, I saw this massive CME. I kept hearing CME. It's a coronal mass ejection, okay? I saw...
Yeah, watch. Look at that. Look, boom, CME released. Do you guys see what's happening? So again, the sun and the moon, it doesn't have to be a physical alignment for you to see. What you guys don't understand is we're fully aligned. The sun and the moon are not separated. There is zero separation right now. I know that's hard to understand, but consider it deals with all the work that I did. If you're look at that. It even causes a glitch in the system. This just occurred. 5, 6. Boom. And that's right now. We're now in 5, 6. So this was in the middle of when I was sleeping. Look at that. Boom. Okay? That's what he's talking about. So most people are going to go, well, we aren't. Somebody even told me then, we're not in an eclipse. Like, you're not watching the work, okay? I've healed Horus. I've healed Sekhmet. Our soul fragments have come back. The sun and the moon have shifted. I told you yesterday about what God said about the sun. The poles of it are shifting. The moon is moving and shifting. The alignment is shifting. The magnetosphere, the magnet thing of the sun is also depleting. So she's very powerful at this time. Okay, there's no veil keeping her energy back from hitting the earth. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I also said yesterday that it's going to be think Big Bang Theory, and here we are again. It's like a sudden flash, and then everything changes. That was day 8 of birthing the new earth. A sudden flash of light, like when we pass away, you hear people talk about that. I saw the tunnel of light. I saw this light. That was the portal of life and death cycle. That is the end. Okay, that is the final end. The Nile clearing the Nile was this too. It's you have the final gate is the 13th gate, and on the 1313 portal last month on the full moon, I undid the last component of the Antichrist. El Diablo was shackled when I undid the Supreme Court of Justice. Okay, the justice system. I undid the Sistine Chapel, which was the portal of hell, most people would call it. The portal of darkness, God called it, the biggest one. And then I undid the justice system on the 1313 portal in April. So if you guys are truly paying attention to my work, look what's happening. We are in it. We are in it. Okay, the time is now to rise. And I said recently when we exposed the Antichrist, God said, now it's time for the light to rise. And look what the sun is doing. He showed me this morning. I got the nudge to look at the sun. I don't look at this every day. This is the new imagery of the sun. So think of the circle like the eye of the sun, right? You can't look directly at the sun. Okay. So the sun is right behind this black blip. This is the sun. And look what happens. Watch. Boom. Just like I say. Listen.
A massive CME come, and then I saw a planet like right on the other side of the sun that kind of pushed energy. And the way God showed me the CME is like it's almost like a bullet going through something where it goes in smoothly. It will go in smoothly on this side, like somebody shoots a bullet and it goes in smoothly, and it blows out the other side.
Okay, so that's how God expressed the CME. It was like something went through the sun and blew a whole bunch of debris and coronal mass ejection out of the sun, and it went into the moon. Okay, all that CME, all that energy from the sun went into the moon, the full moon, and started filling it up, like extremely filling up the full moon. Okay, and then from there, it went down the line of the axis point, which I created on day 2 of New Earth creation, and into my vessel, and a little bit into my kids, because that is my DM and I. If you watched the birthing of the New Earth, you would understand this. But it went through our vessel, through our chakra system, and I felt like a little pain in that chakra between my heart and my solar plexus. And it went down into the core of the earth. And my kids carried a little bit of that, very little, but they carried some of that down their chakra line and into the core of the earth. It was from this, like this, what God showed me.
So that's what I'm telling you. This is happening again. Look at the sun actually give the same image of that atomization. Okay? Giving the same image of that atomization. It's crazy. Look at that atomization. So I kept getting that image. Yesterday, I did day 2 of my workshop and I saw the DNA happening. On Facebook, I've been telling you 369 hertz is needed right now because this is the new Earth timeline. This is the new Earth hitting Earth. These waves are hitting Earth and it's time to rise now. Like, you should have been ready for this. Okay? You should have, we should have been ready for this. And I said this almost a year ago, 9 months ago. It's like birthing a baby. But we did a lot of prep work for this too. And here we are, y'all. And I said yesterday on my video, I did a video yesterday where I talked about what God said with the sun. The sun is rebirthing. We are atomizing. We are changing, right? Truth about the sun you may not be ready to see. And how the sun is actually, with the pyramids, our true solar system, our solar power. It's like solar power grid, our energy grid. I undid that with Budapest recently. Okay. I talked about that with Budapest recently. Where is it? Oh, it was alive. So fall of false energy grid, what I did on April 12th with Budapest, the sun, and the pyramids. You guys, look at this. I showed you this one 5 days ago, but I did it recently. On April 12th, I took chunks of the sun and I shoved it into the pyramids, and I kept saying Budapest unrest, which is a pyramid I activated when I activated the female pyramids. And I kept saying a fall of a false energy grid system, and they had some weird fluctuations by 12, I don't know how many days later, almost 2 weeks later, and coming through the central UK and then hitting Spain and Portugal and knocking out their power. How much more do we need to see? And I said that April 12th. I said fall of a false energy grid. And then as I'm shoving the sun into the pyramids, it goes into the newly rebuilt crystalline grid that I've been doing the work of, and into the core. This is what I do. So when I say I'm doing full moon healings, it's not just for you. I'm doing it to the earth. You can join in to get the healing to rise or not, but it's happening to the earth. That's what I do. That's an ascension master. Okay, I don't just sit here and talk about the ascension. You guys, I'm doing the work. And it's right here. Look at this. Beautiful. Sun atomization. Boom, watch this. Boom. And I look at that. It even glitches out the system. And I say, think Big Bang Theory. Okay, now I added that one to my playlist as well. Let's make sure all these are added to my playlist of the Return of Christ work. Okay, it'll be down at the bottom. Let's make sure all these are added to the playlist of the Return of Christ work, because that's exactly what they are. Okay, I also told you about the 3 nights when I was doing the recent octaving the pyramids, like with Budapest. We did the San Andreas Fault. Okay, San Andreas Fault will soon shift. Red Dragon Prophecy. That was the Red Dragon. That was like the, I don't know, 5th or 6th portal that I implemented of the pyramids. It's Mount Shasta dying. It's the death of California. That's the Red Dragon Prophecy, okay? Because Mount Shasta was what they considered the Red Dragon. It was part of the Antichrist blueprint.
And then here we go, 1313. Why on the 13th? Why did God have me do the full moon on the 13th? Because it was a 1313 portal, and that is where I shackled El Diablo. I undid the Supreme Court justice system, the justice system, after I did the Sistine Chapel, and that is the full exposure of the Antichrist. So the Sistine Chapel is where you will see the Antichrist rise through. And I said St. Francis would die. Okay? I said St. Francis's heart would stop recently also. Keep going, just down a few days. Told you I was going to be octavine the pyramids. You guys, it's all right here. And now look at this beautiful sun. Let's look at this again. That's what I said would happen. Look at... Think Big Bang Theory, like a sudden flash of white light. Did you see that, y'all? I love it. Boom. Now, what was that? It glitched the whole thing. Isn't that so cool? Watch it again. I just love it. I saw this morning. I got the nudge to look at the sun, and boom, I love that. Now that is what I call atomization. And it goes with everything I've been talking about and showing you. Oh. Have a beautiful day, my friends. We are in the end. This is truly the end and the birthing of new earth. It is truly time for the light to rise, because as we expose the Antichrist, so too are we exposing the light. God said the end is now. We are in tribulation. And I said when the atomization would occur, we are in karmic playout. Okay, so those who didn't heal their karma have to reap what we sow. So those who did what they did to us, did what they did to the light, did what they did to Adam and Eve, did what they did to Jesus and Mary Magdalene, did what they did to Sekhmet and Horus, did what they did to the earth, the weather, the food. Let the light return. It's not the apocalypse, it's the return of God's. Time to meet the walkers of the sun and the moon. I also showed you all the work I did to the sun. A lot. And here we are. And the moon. The moon's been healed. I healed all the darkness off the moon. I cut ties to all those satellites and all those things that were listening in to us through the moon. Why the moon? Do you know Thoth was not the god of the moon? It was Horus. Always Horus. Sekhmet and Horus were twin flames. They murdered Thoth and they stole the power of the moon. They murdered Sekhmet and they put this core crystal in the core of the earth of darkness. And they thought they took out all the light. But when I dried the Nile, that is what I replaced. Sekhmet returned. Horus returned. He rose from the Sphinx. The full healing of the moon occurred. The full healing and alignment of the sun occurred. You have to watch my work. I don't just talk about it. And when I say I'm healing the sun or when I say I'm healing the moon, it's the earth that I'm doing the work to. It's the sun and the moon that I'm doing the work to. I took us through the portal of time, through a black hole. The Sphinx is a portal of time. I activated that too. And that is where Horus rose from. That's what it was called when Sekhmet built it. The Sphinx. Know the truth. See the truth. Be the truth. The truth shall set you free. Till next time. I'm so excited. God said I would get to watch the work unfold. I would get to change the world and then watch the world change. I didn't know what that meant when he said it. I thought maybe I was going to heal cancer because my healings are off the charts. Not normal. Like I see all these illnesses. I can see the inside of our body. I see how we get sick and I undo it. So I thought that's what he meant when he said it, because I hadn't quite done the things like clear Mount Shasta, activate the pyramids, free Jesus' soul, undo the Holy Grail, awaken the Sphinx, move the sun and the moon, heal the moon, Horus return, Sekhmet return, heal the crystal in the core of the earth from darkness to light, rebuild the crystalline grid. Now I'm shoving the sun in the pyramids and building our true energy grid system. Think of the pyramids like a solar panel. And they absorb all of the sun energy. That is our energy grid. Water should be free. Energy, not these power lines, is free. They made everything external because they stole it.
and it was not the truth of God. Nothing they told you was the truth. They manipulated the truth, and they gave you little pieces of the truth so that it hook, lined, and sinked you. Who do you give your power away to? Is it God or is it the shadow? That's the most important thing. Free will applied, but we are in the end. Let's look at that atomization one more time, and then I'm going to end this video, because my good Lord Almighty, it is one of the most beautiful things I have ever seen. And I said that's how it's going to occur. Let's see it again. Look at all of that ejections. And then look. Bam! Big bang. Big thing. Think Big Bang Theory, and look at that ejection. Kaboom! Shakalaka. And it looked like atomization, and look at that ejection. I love it. Have a beautiful, beautiful New Earth day, my friends, because you are either in the New Earth blueprint or you are in the Matrix one. There is no in between. See ya later. Doodaloo. I'm all excited.